You're watching TNN. It's the place to be.
This week on MotoWorld, the Supercross season opens in California. MotoWorld talks to road racing legend Barry Sheen. And we'll find out why this guy had a hair-raising experience. All this and more next on MotoWorld.
MotoWorld is brought to you by Coors, the first draft beer in bottles and cans. Coors, the original. Honda motorcycles, all-terrain vehicles, and scooters. Honda, come ride with us. Fram Autolite, the makers of Fram oil filters and Autolite spark plugs. Suzuki, ask your dealer about Suzuki retail financing for motorcycles and quad runners. Ride on, Suzuki. And by Castrol, motor oil engineered for today's smaller, higher revving engines.
Hello, I'm Larry Myers, and this is MotoWorld. Leading off this week's busy program is Supercross action. The traditional season opener in Anaheim, California was a non-championship event, but nevertheless, it was high on everyone's list of want-to-win races.
It is our first race, big race of the year, and it's such a prestigious race to win, press-wise and advertising-wise, and everybody wants to win it, so it doesn't matter if it's for points or not, and you go out to win every race we ride, so.
The first big race of the year is always exciting. It's a chance to see who's wearing new clothes, who has a new look to go with their new clothes, and who looks the best in their new clothes. It's a chance to renew old friendships. You never know just what you'll see at the first race of the year. One thing, though, is certain, there'll be plenty of race action like this pass that Jeff Ward put on Johnson. Mickey Diamond behind Johnson and Ward saw the pass and figured, why not? Now he knows. Before the race was over, Team Honda's Rick Johnson regained the lead. This time, he held it to claim victory in the first stadium event of the year. Let's look at that finish again. The Anaheim opener was not part of the National Championship Series, but based on rider effort, determination, and desire, you would never know the difference. The following weekend, at the famed Houston Astrodome, the National Championship season got underway. The first event of the Coors-sponsored series promised excitement, and it delivered. Defending Supercross champ and three-time Houston winner Jeff Ward avoided the first corner pileup and rocketed to the early lead. Once there, he showed no signs of letting up.
No, I just, I want the number one plate, and I want it bad. I ride like I don't have it. I was 87 champion. I'm not 88 champion, and I got to win this year, so I'm just, out here to win. It just seems like every time somebody has the number one plate, somebody takes it away, but I hope I'm changing that this year.
Still early in the race, Team Honda's Rick Johnson had moved to the number 2 position. It appeared Johnson was set to make one of his patented charges, and he did. But for the El Cajon native, it was too little and too late. A determined Jeff Ward answered every move that Johnson made and took the championship opener. He was coming hard. Did you slack off the last couple of laps?
No, I didn't. He was charging real hard. A couple lappers got in my way real bad in the hoop section, and Ricky saw it. Got right up on me. I had a good conservative pace going that I could do the whole race. He was charging hard. It was a great ride, but came up short.
In the winner's circle, Ward and Johnson were joined by Team Yamaha's Mickey Diamond in the middle, who captured third place. For his outstanding performance in winning the opening round of the National Championship Supercross Series, Jeff Ward is our Castrol Rider of the Week. For being named Castrol Rider of the Week, the defending Supercross champion and 4-time Houston winner will receive a commemorative plaque and a custom-embroidered racing jacket from Castrol. Racer of the Week, Jeff Ward, represents the best in American motocross, and American motocross represents the best in the sport. But less than 20 years ago, American riders played the role of students in the sport of motocross. Chris Larson explains.
In the late 1960s and early 70s, European motocrossers such as 6-time world champion Joël Robert regularly visited the U.S. and regularly beat the best America could muster. The Americans, though, learned their lessons well, taking the sport of motocross full circle. American riders are now the teachers. At the Anaheim Supercross, several students were in attendance, including riders from Japan, ranging from a top Honda Works rider to Japanese privateers. They were on hand to learn from the Americans. The next day, at the final round of CMC's Golden State Series, it was time to apply what was learned at Anaheim. The Japanese riders were no match for the Americans on their own turf, but their performances were respectable and vastly improved over 1 year ago. In addition to Japanese riders, the field included Australians, Canadians, South Africans, and rider number 2V, 1986 250cc world champion Jackie Vamon from France. They were all in the United States to learn and compete with the best.
There are many good riders here, like Johnson and Ward, and so it's a good competition, you know. And the second, sunshine every day, so it's good to train and it's good to ride. And because for this time in France, it's freezing.
It would be ironic if, due to American tutoring, European riders regained or Japanese riders took over the title, best in the world. Reporting from MotoWorld, this is Chris Larson.
Still to come on MotoWorld, ATVs through the streets of Adelanto, California. Female motorcycle journalists ride and rap about bikes.
Hi, my name's Barry Sheen, and whatever you do, stay tuned to MotoWorld to find out what's been going on in the world of motorcycle sport and what I've been doing, which is not a lot really, but there you go.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Like Larry, Moe, and Curly. Fast cars and fancy shoes. Like Buffalo Bob and a lucky dog. And like cats who sing the blues. I'm an American original. The first draft beer in a can. Tapping ice cold pours with a friend of yours.
Brewery fresh draft beer in bottles and cans. That's been Coors for over 25 years. Taste the original today.
Put a 12-ounce keg in your hand.
When a hot game follows dinner, even Pat Riley can lose his cool.
Not good.
That's when he reaches for control. Rolaids. Rolaids Add Acid consumes all the acid required to give millions 100% relief from heartburn and acid indigestion. That way, Pat's free to let his emotions really show.
Not bad.
Relief. You know how to spell it.
For 365 days, they had only one mission: to survive. Tour of Duty on CBS.
Ladies, don't miss Monday's Video Country when we'll reveal your choices for country's 10 sexiest men and give you their marital status. I'm Shelley Mangrum, and I'll see you Monday on Video Country.
Former road racing world champion Barry Sheen is a sports legend in his native England. Although retired from two-wheel competition, he still grabs headlines as a flamboyant celebrity and part-time, would you believe, truck racer? Managing editor Dennis Torres is here to fill us in on the latest exploits of this colorful MBE, or member of the British Empire.
Larry, because European motorsports heroes are revered more highly than their U.S. counterparts, you might compare Sheen's celebrity status to that of a top American TV actor. We recently caught up with Sheen at the legendary Branch Hatch circuit in England, where Barry was doing what he does best: racing, winning, and speaking his mind.
To road racing aficionados, the name Barry Sheen conjures up images of the lucky number 7 racer, the Donald Duck adorned helmet, and his miraculous recoveries from near-fatal accidents. Say Barry Sheen nowadays, and this is the image you'll get. Move over, Smokey and the Bandit and BJ and the Bear. 10-4, good buddy. That's Barry Sheen taking the checkered flag.
Oh, yeah, it's good fun. I mean, it's good fun. And not only that, you know, when the first truck race they had in England, they thought they'd get about 10,000 people. They had 130,000 people, as you well remember. And ever after that, we was saying, well, it must die a death, you know, it must lose its sort of specialness. But look here today, you've got 40, 50,000 people, and we've always had crowds over 50,000, so it's good.
Sheen is planning on leaving truck racing and his native England this year and move to Australia, where he'll delve into land management, motorsports commentary on TV, and dabble in sports car racing. But no matter where he lives, his lifelong association with arch-rival American Kenny Roberts is forever etched in his archive of racing memories.
I can honestly say that out of all the guys that I raced with, Kenny Roberts was the one I enjoyed racing with more than anybody, because he knew he could rely on me 100% and I could rely on him 100%.
Always equipped with a sharp eye for talent, we posed a hypothetical question to Barry and asked him if he were starting a new Grand Prix team, which two riders would he choose?
First of all, I'd say Kevin Schwantz, who he's going to ride for Suzuki anyway, because as you probably know, it was me that got Kevin Schwantz on a 500 in the first place. And I would take the Belgian guy, Didier de Radiguez, because I think he's totally underrated and a very, very good rider.
An interesting evaluation of today's talent, but I guess coming from Barry Sheen, it's to be expected. Three names that Barry didn't mention were King Kenny Roberts, Freddie Spencer, and Mike Baldwin. Why do I mention them? Well, because they're the main characters of this week's Fram Autolite Flashback. Here's Dave Bowman.
The opening laps of the 1982 Daytona 200 provided some of the finest wheel-to-wheel competition ever seen at Daytona International Speedway. The war, at speeds approaching 180 miles per hour, pitted the yellow and black Yamaha of King Kenny Roberts against the red and blue Hondas of Freddie Spencer and teammate Mike Baldwin. Roberts, on a hybrid version of his Grand Prix road racer, gave away brute power to the exotic, one-off FWS V4 Honda rocket ships. The King's edge was in handling and braking, while Hondas had blinding acceleration and top speed. 9 laps into the 57-lap race, the thrilling three-rider duel became a two-way battle. Engine failure had ended Roberts' quest for glory. With Roberts out, Honda's fortunes rose and then quickly sank. Entering the chicane, Baldwin's rear tire began to come apart as teammate Spencer watched inches away. Spencer signaled Baldwin of impending disaster. Spencer sped on as Baldwin pitted to have the tire replaced. A few laps later, Spencer did the same as he too had the same problem. Yamaha's Graham Crosby then took over the lead before Kawasaki's Eddie Lawson forged his way to the front of the field. Meanwhile, the drama in the Honda camp continued as first Baldwin had to make a second pit stop for a fresh rear tire. His disappointment was clearly visible. Then it was Spencer's turn at the tire shop and Honda's chances for a win looked bleak. But the complexion of the race continued to change as Lawson was sidelined with gearbox problems. That handed the lead back to the consistent Graham Crosby. Spencer pulled out all the stops in an effort to catch the Yamaha factory rider from New Zealand. The chase was in vain. Spencer needed an unscheduled gas stop to finish the race, and that gave Crosby the edge he needed to take the win. The victory by New Zealand's Crosby extended the unbroken string of wins by Yamaha-mounted riders begun in 1972. It also marked the last time a foreign rider received the winner's champagne in the Daytona 200. Reporting for MotoWorld, this is Dave Bowman.
A quick footnote on the now retired Graham Crosby. The New Zealander remains the only rider in history to win both America's biggest race, Daytona, and Japan's most important road race, the 8 Hours of Suzuka. Cros currently resides down under and races sports cars as a hobby. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Gary Beatty inviting you to be a part of a special television event. On April 26, we'll present the TNN Viewers' Choice Awards live from the Grand Ole Opry House. And you can help decide the winners. Nominees have been selected by a blue ribbon panel. This week's category is for favorite male vocalist. To vote for your favorite nominee, just call the appropriate 900 number as shown on the screen. Each call costs 50 cents. The nominees for favorite male vocalist are George Jones, 210-0023. Ronnie Millsap, 210-0024. Ricky Skaggs, 210-0025. George Strait, 210-0026. Randy Travis, 210-0027. Hank Williams Jr., 210-0028. Remember, your votes count, and each week we'll bring you a new category, so keep watching. You're an important part of the TNN Viewers' Choice Awards.
For 365 days, they had only one mission: to survive. Duty on CBS.
When Terry Vance is on his bike, he pulls out all the stops. But Byron Hines, his mechanic, knows there's one thing that can stop him: the wrong oil filter. Put in a cheap brand and there could be trouble with leaking gaskets, contaminants, and maybe even big engine problems. So Byron Hines thinks it's worth paying a little more for a Fram oil filter. It's the same Fram filter that can help you avoid big trouble in your bike's engine. And isn't it better to spend a little now instead of a lot later?
Hi there, I'm Lori Ann Crook.
I'm Charlie Chase. We bring you exciting interviews with the biggest and the brightest stars from the world of entertainment.
So join us every weekday for Crook and Chase right here on TNN, the Nashville Network.
High energy, top-notch adventure, and lively entertainment. That's just a portion of the fun in store for you as hosts Gene Autry and Pat Buttram feature fast-paced, action-packed Western entertainment. Cowboy Gene Autry stars in your favorite classic Westerns, and it all takes place on Melody Ranch Theater. Weekdays at 1:30 a.m. Eastern, 10:30 p.m. Pacific, only on TNN, the Nashville Network.
This portion of MotoWorld is brought to you by Rolaids, the antacid millions rely on. Use only as directed.
This week's Coors Behind the Scenes segment deals with women and motorcycles. MotoWorld cameras tagged along with a recent press ride designed to bring together top-ranking females in the motorcycle fraternity. Steve Saunders reports.
The Honda-sponsored women's press ride had a twofold purpose. First, to introduce Honda's VTR 250 Interceptor, and secondly, as an informal gathering to discuss ways of bringing more women into the marketplace. The riding was the common ground which brought the members together. Who could pass up 2 days of scenic winding roads in Southern California? Another common link was the feeling that learning how to ride the right way is a key to expanding the ranks of women on motorcycles.
Well, I would suggest taking a Motorcycle Safety Foundation course. You can take those through most junior colleges. There's a toll-free 800 number, 1-800-447-4700 to find out about where there's a course near you. And you don't even have to have a motorcycle. They'll provide a loan motorcycle for you and teach you the right way to ride.
The question of what the manufacturers can do to encourage more women riders was also brought into discussion.
Well, in recent years, the manufacturers have gone in the wrong direction. They've highly specialized in motorcycles so that women can't ride them. They made them big and fast and, not user-friendly, not, learning motorcycles. And so what they need to do is lower seat heights. They need to put a lot more bottom end into their motorcycles and make them more confidence-inspiring for women. That's what's going to get them in.
The bottom line, though, is still a love of riding, a try-it-you'll-like-it attitude, if you will.
Well, I think Honda's taken a step in the right direction in putting on this ride, which promotes women's motorcycling. I think the more women that discover that they can actually do it, a long time that there's kind of been a myth spread by men that it's macho and, women can't really do something like this. They have to ride on the back. But, once you try it, you get hooked.
The ranks of women riders are growing. Now is the time to be counted. Reporting for MotoWorld, this is Steve Saunders.
The myth that motorcycling is a man's sport is quickly disappearing. The sexual barriers of society continue to dissolve as female role models surface in areas that in the past have been labeled man's domain. Mark Gleckel profiles one of these female role models who balances her love of ATV racing with her job as a ski instructor.
Off-road stadium racing is packed with thrills and spills and plenty of unusual action. And most people think of the competitors as Ironmen for their ability to withstand the pounding and physical punishment associated with off-road. But pretty 18-year-old Shannon Smith from Lake Arrowhead, California, is proof off-road racing is not for men only. A professional quad racer for several years, Shannon is a familiar face on the West Coast racing scene. So how do the guys react to the only girl in the class?
They treat me good, like another racer. That's how I wanted to be treated. I don't want to be treated like a girl racing against the guys. I just like to race, and so it's only guys. If there's a girls' class, I'd race in it, but right now it's all male.
Of course, deep down inside, we all resent the fact that she is a female and she's beating us. And when you look from her behind, you think, oh my gosh, she's beating me and I got to ride harder and pass her, but she's a competitor. Many times she's so far ahead, I don't even have a chance to get up there with her, so excellent rider.
Shannon's mother and father participate in Shannon's racing and stand behind her all the way.
I'm extremely proud of Shannon. She's doing something that girls don't normally do in a field that's dominated by men, but she is competitive and loves it, and she does it well.
Shannon placed third in the LA Coliseum event last year and looks forward to quad racing for a long time to come.
Hopefully a lot of good racing and a lot of traveling. I'd like to travel the nationals and possibly get a factory support or factory team ride. Shannon Smith,
Proof positive, off-road riding and racing is a sport everyone, male or female, can enjoy and participate in. For MotoWorld, Mark Gleckel reporting.
This week's Rolaids Rough Ride of the Week belongs to this high-flying Supercross rider. After this, he's going to need that 100% Rolaids relief.
When a hot game follows dinner, even Pat Riley can lose his cool.
Not good.
That's when he reaches for control. Rolaids. Rolaids Add Acid consumes all the acid required to give millions 100% relief from heartburn and acid indigestion. That way, Pat's free to let his emotions really show.
Not bad.
Relief. You know how to spell it.
I told her Suzuki invented quad runners for everybody. She said, who cares?
Hey, look, you want her to come out here? You just tell her that riding a Suzuki quad runner is like skiing, only uphill. It's like windsurfing without the wind. Tell her it's like flying without leaving the ground.
I'd tell her it'd be more fun if she stayed home.
Get right-on rebates of up to $185 at your Suzuki dealer now.
Dentine is so snappy and tingly, when you bite it, it bites you back. And that same great tasting tingle freshens your breath. Dentine, the gum that bites you back.
Is that a twig cracking? Or a rifle cocking? Did the bush on the right move? Is that one of our guys coming out of the jungle? Or one of theirs? You're a member of Bravo Company. Have a nice night.
Tour of Duty on CBS.
Team Suzuki presents the MotoWorld Suzuki Event Calendar. A look at some of the major events coming up in the world of motorcycles and ATVs.
Florida is the place to be for racing action as the National Championship Motocross season kicks off on February 27th and 28th at Gatorback Cycle Park in Gainesville. On that same weekend, Cycle Week 88 gets underway at Daytona International Speedway with Suzuki National Cup Series road racing. Later in the week, the action shifts to AMA Supersport Series racing on March 4th and 6th. Two of the most prestigious races in the U.S., the Daytona Supercross on March 5th and the 47th Annual Daytona 200 Superbike Classic on March 6th, wrap up the excitement of Cycle Week 88.
Welcome back to MotoWorld. The annual Adelanto Grand Prix has become a happening for off-road racers. This year's 8th edition was no exception as nearly 700 enthusiasts turned out. Why? Let's take a look. A good portion of the 7-mile course runs right through the middle of town, making it more of a spectator event than most, and the yearly influx of visitors on race day has the city fathers and citizens staunchly behind the event. While ATVs are more at home off-road, the majority of racers appear to have the high-speed street sections well under control. However, the real test of a rider's mettle on the varying terrain course was the water hazard. The brave plowed through at full speed while trying not to get too close to one another. And while the mudslinging was spectacular, the center of attention was the survival tactics of one particular flagman. Could he have volunteered for this job? When the results were in and tallied, it was Desert Hot Springs, California resident Randy Garrett with the overall win. Honda-mounted Garrett may have been mud-splattered, but that didn't keep him from celebrating his victory.
The racers at Adelanto displayed a lot of riding talent and expertise in the midst of extraordinary conditions. Afterwards, a few offered their opinions on operating an ATV with safety in mind. This advice was timely when you consider the recent negative press attributed to ATVs.
The ATVs are only as dangerous as you make them. A person with proper training, guidance, and especially children should have adult supervision. That's where the biggest problem is. People don't see them as being dangerous. They think of them as a toy, and they're not.
I have a 7-year-old son that rides. He rides very safe. He's been riding for 2 years, and he's never been hurt, but he was trained properly, and I think that's the key.
Former factory motocross star Goat Breker ended a 2-year retirement by riding CMC's Golden State Series. For Breker and his sponsor, Pro Circuit's Mitch Payton, Breker's comeback involved more than just racing.
Well, about 3 months ago, they made me a bet that I wouldn't ride the Golden State, and if I did, I couldn't win the 500 class, and I said, okay. So we drew up a contract, and we put it in blood, and it was great.
With that checkered flag, Breker won the final moto of the series and the 500 title. Then, with hundreds of fans looking on, the terms of the contract written in blood were fulfilled.
It said that if I win the 500 class in the Golden State, that I can shave his head and 2 other guys. And if I lost, I had to shave my head.
Payton, along with 2 other losers, honored his end of the deal. How was it, Mitch?
I think it's pretty good. I don't care. If it's what it takes to make him win, we'll do it again. So I think we got another bet. He's going to go to Europe, and if he wins over in Europe, we're going to have a bigger bet than this. So this isn't that bad, maybe.
All right. Happy it'll be when it grows back.
Goat Breker is looking for sponsors interested in becoming part of a world championship effort. The Goat claims that instead of your corporate logo on a sticker, he'll shave the design in his hair. And speaking of hairy stunts, watch as we roll the credits and you'll see 2 guys who defy gravity. They were part of the entertainment at the Houston Supercross. With that, we're out of hair. Keep your wheels on the ground and your feet on the pegs. For MotoWorld, I'm Larry Myers.
MotoWorld has been brought to you by Coors, the first draft beer in bottles and cans. Coors, the original. Honda motorcycles, all-terrain vehicles, and scooters. Honda, come ride with us. Fram Autolite, the makers of Fram oil filters and Autolite spark plugs. Suzuki, ask your dealer about Suzuki retail financing for motorcycles and quad runners. Ride on, Suzuki. And by Castrol, motor oil engineered for today's smaller, higher revving engines.
Drugs.